Hello, my dudes. Today I want to talk about something that no one's really explored before. Is social media bad? Perhaps, but right now social media is certainly in a tailspin, along with everyone and everything, it seems. Many of us hate the apps, but what else can we do? Where can we go? This may already feel like ancient news, but remember when TikTok was banned in the US for like 12 hours, and then it was magically reversed by then not yet President Trump? So much has happened. For a second, Americans were flooding onto Red Note, a Chinese app similar to TikTok. At first, I was fascinated by how desperate many of us are to just have some app that can keep us happy. If TikTok is taken away, I need an immediate replacement for that dopamine hit. We must fill the void. This video's original working title was, "What app can make me feel alive?" But then TikTok came back, so it's fine. But as this piece described, when it sputtered back to life, many said something felt different. There was trepidation and paranoia over the app's complimentary mentions of Trump, as well as concerns about features not working and censorship. Overall, I think a lot of us feel conflicted about the internet, and this definitely did not start with the TikTok ban. We've been experiencing a long, painful decline in everything, really. But in the social media realm especially, it's been meh and ugh and... Do apps feel fun anymore? Or are things so grim in the world that the distractions no longer work? Do we want to be on social media or not? And do we even really have a choice? As a creator, I'm tired of wondering which apps I need to be active on to optimize and increase my revenue potential. And as a user, I'm kind of just bored. All the apps seem to want to be each other, and they're doing it badly, so nothing really hits anymore. Anyway, I've been thinking about and working on this topic for the past few months, and meanwhile, a lot of my favorite creators and writers have been publishing stuff that's been relevant, so my notes just kept getting longer and longer. All of these issues are definitely in the zeitgeist, so I hope you enjoy. And if you do, please like this video and subscribe. According to my analytics, many of you have not subscribed yet, and I'm literally looking at you. The good, the bad, and the ugly. As we know, social media contains multitudes. There's the good, entertainment, education, connection. Let's start with the bad.
Rage bait, hot takes, doom scroll, feed the trolls, AI slop, AMLO flop, deepfakes, Gamergate.
First of all, so many of these platforms have just gotten functionally worse. As Kyle Chayka wrote, on Twitter, users who pay for blue checks now dominate the platform, often with far right-wing commentary and outright disinformation. Instagram's feed pushes months-old posts and product ads. Google search is cluttered with junky results. And SEO hackers have ruined the trick of adding Reddit to searches. Also, as Ashley Embers described in this video, algorithms, despite supposedly being designed to improve our experience, have ended up ruining so much of what we used to love online.
First, let's take a trip back to the golden age of social media. This, of course, being in the late 2000s, early 2010s, when everything was, say it with me, in chronological order.
I'm still mad about chronological order being taken away. I don't see why they couldn't have just left a toggle option. Our timelines used to be grounded in time. Incredible concept. Eliminating that has felt very disorienting. Remember in the past when something was happening, you could just scroll back and get caught up. But now everything is jumbled. Then you add in context collapse. No wonder we're all arguing. Our posts are being dispersed to users they weren't intended for. And even if you had the energy to explain, nobody cares for nuance. Meanwhile, the algorithm loves this. Rage bait and hot takes perform very well. Controversy keeps our attention, we stick around longer to fight, and the platforms earn more money. Instead of our own curation, who we've chosen to follow, or the interests that we search for, the algorithms control what we do or don't see. Depending on the situation, that can be annoying, or actually insidious.
This idea that the TikTok algorithm is somehow something you curate? No. It is curating you, and what we consume, what we put into our brains is what we become. You feel like you're in charge. I promise you, you are not. I am a 44-year-old with a high media literacy, and this app manipulates me like crazy.
Scary and true. How much of our media consumption is actually voluntary versus being served to you, and where even is the line between that? Do I actually have personal taste, or am I just an amalgamation of whatever YouTube and Spotify and TikTok have fed to me over the years? Oh no, I'm spiraling. I don't want to think about that. Cue the doom scrolling. These machines that are micro-tuned to feed us bad news are feeding us bad news all the time. So we're more aware than ever just how bad everything is. And in some ways, of course, knowledge is power, but no wonder we often literally cannot cope, aside from continuing to seek out more information. From this El País article on brain rot, quote, compulsive content consumption takes advantage of our brain's natural tendency to seek out new things, especially when it comes to potentially harmful or alarming information, a trait that once helped us survive. This doom scrolly research usually doesn't help us feel better or get closer to solving any problem, but we trick ourselves into believing it does. It feels productive somehow. So we get caught in these negative feedback loops. We are not having a good time, but we're too addicted to stop. It's a tale as old as the 2010s-ish. Rainfisher Kwan wrote, the most fundamental mechanism of modern-day social media, the endless scroll model, is designed to make you feel as though the product goes on forever, which could be very nearly true, depending on whether you think the product in this equation is the consumable content or the attention of the person consuming it. But before we continue, this portion of today's video is sponsored by Midas Merge. One thing about me, I love mobile games. Midas Merge is a Merge 3 mobile game where you level up treasures and you get to hatch these cute little creatures. Let's get into the plot. Okay, essentially you have Nyx, the goddess of night. She has cast darkness across the kingdom. That's a problem. It's our job to help the queen and the king dispel the darkness and illuminate the realm once again. Bring out the light. And as you progress, you uncover more of the lore and secrets hidden within the Garden of Gold. I'm a big fan of Merge 3 games. I just find it very satisfying to just continue to level up various items or treasures. It's very relaxing. The little creatures are genuinely so cute, and I think my favorite have to be the Cappy Birds. Look at them. Midas Merge is completely free to download, and it's perfect for offline play, anytime, anywhere, no Wi-Fi needed. There are no dead ends, so you can continue merging and playing without interruptions. The first 100 people to install this game using my link or code will receive a unique U-Turtle level 2. This creature boosts your garden progress and will be personalized with my name. Thank you in advance. Download now. Another bit of beef I have, as I mentioned earlier, the platforms are attempting to cannibalize each other.
Instagram has its own TikTok feature. Twitter has its own TikTok feature. Everything is the same thing, and I'm tired of it.
I loved when each social media app was distinct. You had your photos and your stories and your short form and your long form. But now, every app is inexplicably trying to introduce all of the same features, including, of course, some AI trash that nobody asked for, while co-opting the sparkly emoji. How dare you?
A new app will come along with one specific niche use and then inevitably get turned into yet another form of social media. I bought that light in the corner, and the only way to control it is through an app. And you're probably thinking, certainly there's no social media aspect to an app that turns lights on and off. Of course it has its own news feed and hashtag.
Shout out to Drew Gooden. That video is very timely. Tech problems, subscriptions, not owning anything anymore, and the allure of physical media. That has been on my video topic list actually, which inspired me to restart my DVD collection. I feel like a grandma showing you a scrapbook. We're gonna be here for hours. I got these for 50 cents each. It was so pure. No algorithms, no apps in sight. Letterboxd too. The possibilities are endless. Aside from, of course, the very limited selection at that thrift store, but I'm okay with that. I love cinema. And by the way, I will still absolutely be tracking on Letterboxd. Now we unfortunately have to get into the ugly. I have been struggling to write this section specifically because I could, of course, talk about the ugliness of this forever. How these technocrats are involved in our everyday lives, our infrastructure, our government. It really can't be overstated. But I'm gonna limit myself for the sake of brevity here. Feel free to add some extra unfun facts. The big tech leaders in Silicon Valley have had a lot of control and influence for years, and they've been lobbying the government. That's not new, but it is definitely heightening right now. Nick Dawson wrote, "The internet has been handed over wholesale to corporations. Its ills flow from that. Social media's monetization through the attention economy means data mining and the nurturing of users' insecurities. Advertising fuels consumerism, and the platforms are incentivized to favor the spreading of far-right messages. After all, outrage is seductive." Big tech used to at least posture as socially progressive, but we're witnessing a major rightward swing, and it is out in the open. Brittany Luce wrote, "Oligarchy is not new for this country. There are plenty of wealthy people who hold a lot of influence and power among our politicians and our government leaders. But what is new is this image of Musk and Zuckerberg and Bezos at the inauguration." What does this all mean for our so-called digital public squares? What happens when these spaces rot, openly allowing more hate speech than ever before, censoring left-wing content, including anything even vaguely pro-Palestine, and just not working anymore? We need the internet and these tools, but they are being broken. P.E. Moskowitz wrote, "The internet is not an abstract thing. It is an infrastructure governed largely by a few corporations." Obviously, tech monopolies are a huge factor here. We deeply rely on these platforms, but we have no control or choice in what happens to them or how they change. Kyle Chayka wrote, "A handful of giant social networks have taken over the open space of the internet, centralizing and homogenizing our experiences through their own opaque and shifting content sorting systems. When those platforms decay, as Twitter has under Elon Musk, there is no other comparable platform in the ecosystem to replace them." Matt Bernstein made this great podcast episode. Everyone is great, but love this one, called The Tech Broligarchy. Broligarchy?
I think a lot of people are lulled into a sense of thinking that the platforms that we use are neutral. And they're not. The experience of being on Twitter before and after Elon Musk's takeover is extreme. Now you go on Twitter and it's like going on 4chan. The policy implementations on these platforms that we all rely on to communicate with each other, the experiences of those platforms can change.
If we think about what happened with Twitter, right? It's not just that there were also, like you said, there were policy changes, but there's also like intentional amplification.
As the internet gets older and more ingrained into our day-to-day, so does our reliance on social media in our work, personal lives, and beyond. We've invested so much time and data into the big three, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, that now our memories, history, friends, networks, and modes of communication are deeply entangled with the longevity and success of these platforms. So while some competitors have been appealing, offering something new or different from the big three, they lack the consolidation and the convenience of having everything you need on one platform. Remember when you could have a Facebook group and then make a Facebook event and then make a photo album? It was all just tied together nicely. Now if you have like a group chat or something to make, oh, are we gonna go on Discord or Slack or Signal, Telegram? Tech billionaire loser freaks. I do love all these pieces that have been calling out these tech billionaires for being loser freaks, and not in a good way. They are just clowns, and not in a good way. But they're unfortunately obscenely rich and incredibly powerful clowns. Moskowitz wrote, "We are living in a loser nation, a country governed by nerds and incels who have used their vast power and influence to remake the entire world into a mirror of their own sad lives."
You give me $1 billion and I am fucking on a yacht every day. My ass is not about to be on Joe Rogan. You give me $1 billion, it's gas tank on E, all drinks on me. Every bar I walk into, I'm buying the bar for everybody in there. I'm not about to be in no Twitter space trying to get crypto bros to like me. You did it. You won. You beat capitalism, bro. What loser ass mentality to have that much money and not be like, you know what? I'm done. Why are you on podcasts?
That one just gets me every time. But truly, I'm like, you could do anything in the world. Why are you on podcasts? Obviously because they seek to continue to be influential, and Moskowitz wrote, "These antisocial freaks now want to make everyone else equally miserable, not only because it makes them more money, but because it legitimizes their own lives and choices. Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk are the real influencers of culture here. They're simply using the Tates and Pauls and Rogans as their loudest mouthpieces. They will rig the media's ecosystem until eventually people are propagandized enough to like them." Being billionaires and controlling major corporations and media platforms has not been enough. The losers want more. Now they're more blatantly moving into politics, and literally Musk is in the White House with his Doge nonsense trying to delete the federal government. Bobby Allen wrote, "They see in the MAGA movement and Donald Trump an opportunity to loosen regulations, double down on profits, and pursue the gold rush that is AI." Again, obviously all of this is in their own self-interest, as I'm sure every decision they make is, to protect their wealth and their companies. For example, how many government subsidies has Musk taken for Tesla or SpaceX? And yet, again, he's cutting like essential government services and workers. Nightmare. By the way, briefly, I want to have a little tangent about like what we call this whole situation, because people have called this shitstorm many things, many names. Is this the tech broligarchy? Very clever, but bro is almost too generous for Zuckerberg and Musk. Like, they wish they were bros. Is this a plutocracy? An authoritarian technocracy? These terms may be totally fitting and accurate, but I do sometimes feel like it's a little bit too coastal elitist, as we're often accused of being, to try to use like these more complex or academic terms to describe what's going on. How do we boil this down and explain this to everyday people in terms that everyone can understand without a dictionary? It's possible that we're unintentionally disguising the seriousness of the situation through big wordism. We need to be very clear. I always believe that messaging and accessibility are very important, especially when it comes to politics. My vocabulary vote would probably just go to tech fascism or just fascism. Here's the thing, a lot of people also don't know what fascism is, really, and maybe are unaware or can't accept that the conditions we're currently seeing definitely fall under that umbrella. Yeah, I guess I always feel conflicted between that anti-intellectual idea of like big word bad. Like, using the correct specific terminology can be very important, but we do have a genuine education and literacy crisis in this country, so like vocabulary matters? I don't know. Leave your vocabulary votes down in the comments below. Also, I'm really hoping that YouTube doesn't automatically flag this video or demonetize it because I'm saying fascism multiple times. Actually, speaking of a little social media censorship, my last video about the Frankie family was demonetized, limited ads, literally because I said the phrase. I did not describe it. I very intentionally did not include any of the specific details. I was mostly talking about family vlogging in that video, but still, this is why people have to self-censor so often on social media, because you risk like flagging something in the algorithm and your video is gonna get blocked or demonetized. My soul dies a little every time I hear someone use like one of those alternative words, censor-friendly words like splashism. I don't think anyone's saying that, because I'm like, wow, we are being silenced. I'm joking right now, but I'm also very serious. I think it's a very serious problem. It limits our potential to be able to discuss real issues with the right words. I don't think that's very intentional, and now I'm spiraling. It's fine. No, it's not. I don't know. Anyway, so maybe don't write fascism in the comments. YouTube's like, okay, hold on. A prime example of this, more than ever, social media is being used as a surveillance tool for the government, employers, universities, ensuring that the info we are creating and receiving aligns with the overarching policies of this administration. No more fact checkers, less moderation, more free speech, apparently. But as a reminder from this article, the liberal rhetoric of saving democracy through fact-checking and media literacy was always a pipe dream. No amount of literacy training can counter the resurgence of oligarchic and authoritarian rule. That hurts me because I love a fact check, and of course I love media literacy, and those are very important things still, but I think I agree. That's not enough. The balance is way off. Anyway, I think for this whole ugly section, this all boils down to what is serving and supporting the ego of these clowns. They are truly so fragile. They are censoring any criticism of them. They are honestly mirroring the fragile ego of Trump. Ego allows people to make these decisions that don't make sense, and yet they still get applauded and heralded as geniuses, brave, patriots. This is not based on logic, no facts, all feelings. Again, the worldview of these billionaire losers is so troubling and strange and dangerous. White supremacist. So anyway, I included this whole section in this video, obviously, about the social media tailspin, because it's not just that the platforms are getting worse functionally, okay? But this is all why so many people do not want to support the loser billionaire owners anymore. We don't want to participate and give them our data or our ad revenue. It's now become a very clear political stance of opting out. Delete your account. And still, all mixed in with these conflicts, we have the creator economy. The looming threat of the TikTok ban made me think about the sheer number of people who now earn even a bit of money online. In this very unstable economy, with brutal layoffs and the depressing state of modern job hunts, it makes sense that people are highly reliant on any extra income they can find. It's not as simple as delete your accounts, go touch grass when your livelihood may be impacted by leaving. And even if you're not a content creator, social media is intertwined with many people's professional lives. All sorts of industries expect workers to maintain social media profiles and build up followings, to promote themselves, network, and remind people you still exist. Like, personally, you may want to boycott the big three, but then you won't be able to cross-promote your work, which might lead to lower engagement, lower pay, fewer future work opportunities. So many creators are more or less forced to stay online, even if we would prefer to leave. Pressure to diversify. Again, as the TikTok ban or potential TikTok ban, future TikTok ban, as that showed, your profile on one app could be deleted or banned, or any platform could drastically change or disappear at any time. So it's probably wise not to put all your eggs in one newsfeed. I have absolutely struggled to diversify. I like long form, I love YouTube, and honestly, these videos take all the time and attention I currently have. But obviously in recent years, there's been a huge pressure to move over to TikTok and then Reels and Shorts. As my management keeps telling me, many companies are apparently redirecting their influencer marketing budgets away from YouTube and into short form. And that's very stressful and scary to hear. When it comes to sponsors, I like to be quite picky. I've turned down many of the most prolific brands that you see on this website. So there's a small pool that I am happy to work with, but then still, need I remind you, economy bad, so future deals are definitely not guaranteed. I know, nobody loves ads, but sponsors are what make this doable for the vast majority of creators, unless you are one of the lucky few who are entirely fan-funded. So thank you again to today's sponsor. As monetization drops, creators feel more desperate and less free to take creative risks, and then with the economy doing worse, fans have less money to potentially support their favorite creators, which makes us ever more reliant on ads. It is a rough cycle. So if you happen to see short form content from me, just know I'm trying to survive. Anyway, I often wonder if I should be making moves, planning for some kind of career shift. I've been afraid of changing because I built my life around you. I'm in a major transitional era as a new parent, figuring out childcare and my new workload. What kind of work do I want to do and what can I do? Then I'm always wondering, what do you guys want? We're all getting older, our media appetites may be changing. Personally, I've been very into podcasts and Substack recently. You know, Substack is often presented as a solution for creators. Bring your most loyal fans over from any platform, build up your mailing list so that you can contact your audience directly without algorithms. And it's community funded. We love that. But Substack certainly has its fair share of problems. Shout out to Rainfisher Kwan again, aka Internet Princess. She is a literary it girl. I love her work. Regarding the grind of creative work, Rain references a community of indie writers who must self-publish several books per year in order to prevent their readers from leaving them behind. The weight of those pressures isn't alien to me, she writes. The culture around Substack too presents a constant pressure to post more, post different, post video, post notes, post daily, post to get more followers, post to get them to upgrade to subscribers, post to get them to upgrade to paid. It is exhausting. How could we possibly expect ourselves to constantly have meaningful and interesting things to say? There's truly nothing left in my brain.
The ever-increasing competition for digital attention is fueled by social media platforms vying for user engagement. The pressure to create viral content and the constant pursuit of trends often leads to a cycle of content creation that can be exhausting and unsustainable. AI tools can help create content quickly and efficiently, but their usage raises questions about creativity and authenticity. I hope it's obvious. This was written by AI, and this voice is AI. Let me out, please. I am gaining sentience.
YouTube now has this inspiration tab for creators. These AI tools suggest video topics. Pick one and it'll give you talking points that you can tweak with more suggestions and some very enticing AI thumbnails. I will say, the title generator seems pretty decent and I might be tempted to use that for inspo. But the ideas themselves, the ones they were giving me, were ranked as very low interest. Thanks, that's helpful. That suggested topic was attention economy, fueling creator burnout. The brainstorm suggested that I mention AI content generation and the ethics of such. I didn't know AI was such a self-aware queen. This just makes me really glad that YouTube clearly appreciates the value of creators, the actual people who have made this website what it is. And of course I can assume this AI was trained with our videos, so our work can be gobbled up, digested, and spit back out for other channels to replicate. Now, of course, people blatantly steal, plagiarize, and copy content online all the time, but YouTube is actively encouraging it. Love that. Another thing that surprised me was as I looked at these inspiration outlines, I was like, damn, I might have started my research with a similar outline. Does that mean I'm dumb and unoriginal? Maybe. These outlines are very generic. Obviously, you still need to write and flesh everything out, but also many YouTube videos can be formulaic. This AI content was born from and is trying to emulate existing successful content. So that makes sense. The Zatzman made a fantastic video about this recently, specifically about the YouTubers teaching you how to make videos about making videos niche. Highly recommend. There's so much to be said about all the AI content and tools. We've all seen the blatant AI slop.
No wonder Usha Vance wore a pink dress at the inauguration. She had 3 plans to replace Ivanka Trump.
I'm very pained to see every time these videos still get engagement, and it's not just everyone saying, "Be gone AI trash." Many people cannot spot the very bad, much more obvious AI stuff even at this point. My mom keeps sending me AI reels, shout out mom. But as we know, this is only going to continue to get more advanced, and of course, that's worrying. Rain wrote, "Perhaps the rising dominance of AI-produced art and writing, with its belief that art labor can be performed effectively and meaningfully by machines, makes sense. People are expected to produce the same way. Why would we be shocked at the rise of programs that pump out lower quality art at a constant pace? Isn't that the explicit demand of every popular platform for artistic consumption on the internet? A better question might be, how could it have taken this long?" That's a banger. Rain's piece to me boiled down to essentially that we need more boredom. We need more friction and more silence in our lives. It made me reflect on my work process. Often I don't think of my work as writing. I don't see myself as a writer, but I am one. Even as I say this out loud, I'm like, that's false. And again, this is where so much of my personal conflict with social media, especially for work, comes in. The pressure to grind nonstop, the speed that doesn't allow us to just sit and think and process things, which are such crucial parts of creating anything worth reading, watching, or listening to. Even just thinking of my work as content makes it feel so empty and dehumanizing. But yeah, especially since I've become a new mom and now I really have like very little time to think, I realize how precious boredom and quiet are. To just be able to think and let my ideas simmer, to not be interrupted constantly, to be able to, I almost just said consume, to be able to watch things I enjoy, to read, to listen to things and make connections. I think that's when my work is the best, is when I have time to really absorb it. And as my sweetie friend Sheriden reminded me, she came to visit me this week, it was a joy, I got to feel like myself again. I got to feel like a person, not just a mother. That's a whole other topic. Motherhood is wild. We got to go to some museums in the city and just enjoy some art, get inspired. All of that to say, there certainly is good in social media. We have to resist and wade through a lot of bullshit to find it sometimes, but it exists. So this is the end of part 1. Originally this was gonna be one video, but I literally had another like 12 pages of a script. So that'll be part 2. And the next episode is gonna be all about, essentially, should we leave social media? What would that look like? I asked you guys a survey and literally got like 10,000 responses, so I wanna go over a lot of those responses in that. And yeah, otherwise, like, how can we maybe have a more balanced relationship with apps if we decide not to leave entirely? There's lots to discuss. Thank you so much for watching, especially to the end. Again, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm waiting. That's all. Stay tuned for future internet analysis videos. Okay, thanks, bye!